Hi YouTube, Thibaut Van Dam here with another YouTube video. And for those of you who are not familiar with my channel, I am a singer-songwriter based in Southeast London. And today I'm doing something that I've been meaning to do for a very long time. I am finally beginning the video series all about royalties. And I tried making this video multiple times. And usually when I tried in the past, I tried making a single video where all the information was in this one really dense 30-minute video. And I thought, that's not very useful because even if I can put chapters, it really doesn't help anyone sort of guiding around, the topics. And really what I should do is do an introductory video, which is what I'm doing today. And then I should make all these videos separately, which is what the video series will be. So I mentioned in my last YouTube video, it was, I think, a cover of maybe a Frank Sinatra song or a song that was at least performed by Frank Sinatra, although I might be wrong. But I mentioned that this was the next video I wanted to do. And I've been dealing with some personal issues in the last sort of month and a half. So I haven't gotten around to doing this video series. Also because it's kind of challenging. Ultimately, some things just to begin with about royalties is that it's complicated. I mean, I'll be the first to admit it. It is a confusing topic. There's a lot of different royalties. It's even more confusing because money is used internationally now. Not money, music. Music is listened to and used internationally now. And so because of that, that basically means that it's being used everywhere. And so there are a lot of different international things to think about. I'm American and I'm also French. And so I live in the UK. And so the two places I'm mostly concerned with in terms of royalties and how to collect them, etc., are the UK primarily, and then the US, because I still have friends in the US and they're listening. And so I'm interested about how those systems work. So I wrote some notes on this trusty notebook I have over here. So I'm just going to look at it and just make sure that I mention everything I wanted to mention in this introductory video. So one of the first things I got to say about royalties is that even though it's a complicated thing, that it's an essential thing to know. So if you're a musician, even if you're not even a DIY artist, even if you're signed to a label, royalties are very important because royalties are generated based on the usage of music. And that doesn't matter if you are self-employed and an indie artist or if you're signed to a label and Universal owns everything you do. Because no matter what, money is getting generated with the music you've made. And if it's made public, then yeah, it's making money, and it's important you know the various different ways that it's making money, especially in this case if you are a DIY artist like myself, because being a DIY artist means that you basically have to affiliate yourselves with a series of different organizations to collect these royalties. So basically, in a nutshell, royalties are getting generated based on the usage of music. So if people listen to it a lot or a little, that will sort of equate to how much money you get. Two of my favorite things to say about royalties is that royalties are earned in perpetuum and they're also earned cumulatively. So when I say in perpetuum, I mean just forever. When you make something, you own the rights to that thing. And you will own those rights forever. And I think for a series of years after you die even. So it's important because that means that this can be an aspect of your livelihood as a musician. And when I say cumulatively, in a nutshell, the more music you make, the more money you can make. So the easiest way to think about this idea is if you make one song and you get 1 million streams on that song, so then you get 1 million times whatever the streams are, right? So that's money right there. But if you write 100 songs and they all get 1 million streams, you get even more. And so the thing is that it's cumulative. The more you do, the more you get. And not only that, but one of my favorite sort of things is if you release something new and people have not heard of you before, if you start developing a following, if they listen to your new thing, it's likely that they'll listen to your old thing as well. And again, royalties are generated based off of usage. So when people go back to listen to older music that you've written, that's making new money. It's new money even though it's old music. So that's another thing to think about with royalties. And I think royalties in a spiritual sense are really important for three main reasons, which I've written down. One, it's a validation of your work because there's a lot of work involved in making music, even though people don't seem to think so. And also originality. If you put something new into the world, that should be sort of compensated in some kind of way, especially if you created it and you did everything involved in that process, like a DIY artist. Another reason is its motivation to continue working. So I don't earn a lot of money from royalties. I have to admit, I do not at all by any means, but I earn something. And earning just the smidgest of money from music is very incentivizing. I feel motivated. I feel like it's a little crack of light. And you get a little bit, and then you get a little bit more, and then you get a lot, and eventually you're doing okay financially. I'd like to believe, especially with the fact that it's, royalties are earned again in perpetuum and cumulatively. And lastly, making money as a musician through royalties, it is basically capital. It can be capital to meet the basic cost of living, which everyone has, or it can be capital that you can reinvest into your music. You can use that money to make a music video. The first royalty payment I ever got from PRS, which I'll talk about in one of these videos, I bought a bass. It was serendipity, really. I bought it the same day as I got my first payment, but I got a bass, and it was £50. I got paid £50 in, out. I have a bass, and I use that bass now. I've already used that now to record new music, my own music, and also I got paid as a session musician on a project where I played bass. So it's worth thinking about that. So I just want to do a quick overview because there are a lot of royalties, and you'll see that in the web series. You'll probably on the video series. You'll see probably on the side or somewhere where you have access to this whole series once it's finally done. That there's a list of different royalties that I'm going to talk about, and there's probably even more than I'm thinking about, but there are important ones, and these are the ones I'm going to be talking about. I'm just going to list them off. You have performance or songwriter royalties. That's the way I think about it. You have recording royalties. You have performance royalties. And then you also have distribution sales and royalties from streams, these sort of similar. And there's also publishing royalties, although those really depend on where you are in the world. And then there's mechanical royalties. So there's a lot of royalties that exist. And depending on what you do with music, you could be entitled to a few of these or all of them, actually. And this is important. So the last thing I'm going to say, as I flip the page, is that I have some goals in this video. Not this video, in my future video series. My goals are the following: to talk about the royalty type that exists. So if that's a performance royalty, I just want to mention what it is. I want to talk about why it's generated, and also the entitlement behind the royalty. So when I say why it's generated, it's like I'm examining why the royalty actually should exist because of the way the music is being used, and also the entitlement. So how the organization that you get affiliated with gets that money, and then how do you get that money, and what makes you entitled to it. I'll do an overview of the general value you can expect, how much you can make. This is more of a theoretical thing. It obviously depends on how popular you are as a musician, and how much your music is really used. You don't even have to be that popular, just if your music is used a lot. I want to talk about the organizations, both in the UK and the US, that you can affiliate with. This idea doesn't exactly apply to certain things like distribution, but it does apply to certain other things like performers' rights organizations. And then I'll do, lastly, a little overview on how to sign up to this organization, what it will cost, what you need to do it, what you need to be eligible to affiliate with the organization. So I'm really excited about this video series because, like I said, I've been trying to get it done for a while. And you can see I finally organized some main ideas. I hope you found this video interesting. I hope you're as excited about the video series as I am, because I'll be getting into it, and I think it's empowering. You should empower yourself as a musician. Money is like one of the things that's the most complicated things for musicians, because it's really hard to get money and not feel like you're selling out. But there's a difference between selling and selling out. And I think everyone's got to eat and everyone's got to sleep somewhere. And so being a musician doesn't mean you have to necessarily be poor. And I think that it's possible to make some money with it. And I'm saying that from the perspective of someone who's still working on it and is not making a perfect living from, working in music. So with all this in mind, I hope you're excited about this video series. If you are, please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, because I will be making my next video fairly soon. And I'll probably actually make the first video, which will be all about about songwriters' royalties and what people call performance royalties, performance/songwriter royalties. I'll be doing that video right now. So I'll be wearing the same sweater and it will look exactly the same. But I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Ciao for now.